Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today will be our first video on the American Tier 9 matchmaking aircraft carrier, USS Essex. I do have the sister ship and I have renamed her Leyte. So let's take a look to see what this ship brings to the table. So we have 56,300 health, we have 30% torpedo resistance, up to 4 inches of armor, a maximum of 4 on the belt. It is still relatively easy to citadel this ship. However, it's not as easy as Taiho, which is the Japanese Tier 9 carrier. So she has a little bit better armor. Let's see here. What else do we have? We have 8 secondary gun turrets. However, it's not the same as Lexington. So we have the 2 single 5-inch on the sides here. A couple more right there. And then we have twin 5-inch mounts around the main island. So yeah, you have secondaries. Effective secondaries is questionable. Obviously, you're not going to be looking for secondary brawls in any way, but you still have that. Anti-aircraft guns. We have 81 anti-aircraft guns. And we have some pretty decent damages, especially inner and middle ring. And to an extent, outer ring. All three of these are very, very nice damage numbers. For aircraft, we are able to hold 100 aircraft, which for Lexington, we had 90, so we get about 10 more. Which is good because there's even more ships at this tier that have a lot of good AA, and the ships that had good AA beforehand, these ships have even more. So for example, for tier 8, we're Lexington, where we have North Carolinas. Tier 9, now we have Iowas. So yeah, you're gonna still be losing a lot of planes, and I will probably be losing quite a few of them myself in these games, so that'll be fun. You can actually, before we talk about the fighters, the speed, 33 knots. So she is a very, very fast carrier. Again, similar to Taiho, very good speed. She has very good AA, relatively decent armor. I find it's actually quite better to HE spam these carriers just because they're actually quite large. But yeah. Alright, and so we have upgrades for our fighters, dive bombers, and torpedo bombers. So these are the sets for the fighters. We have Corsairs, Douglas BTDs. I'm not actually quite sure what these are named. And then we are able to upgrade the dive bombers and torpedo bombers to the same aircraft, actually. So they're both BTD ones. And we have 3 options for air group, and we'll be going over the first option today. However, it's kind of hard to organize them into like a balanced, a strike, and a defensive layout like I've been trying to. So for today's layout, we have the final layout of Lexington, actually. We have 2 squadrons of fighters, 6 aircraft each, 1 torpedo bomber squadron of 8 aircraft, and a dive bomber squadron of 9 aircraft. And you can kind of see how that worked out yesterday. We did lose a lot of planes, but we were able to get over 200,000 damage and a win. The second layout is kind of going to be your strike setup. So we have only 1 fighter squadron, 2 torpedo bomber squadrons, and then 2 dive bomber squadrons. So a lot of firepower there. And then your last one is kind of a mix of both of the earlier layouts. We have 2 squadrons of fighters, 1 squadron of torpedo bombers, but we also get 2 dive bomber squadrons. So it's a little bit of both of these. You have the fighters and torpedo bombers from mod 1, but you have the dive bombers from mod 2. So not that much variability, honestly. It's obviously nothing like you get for Ranger. Man, if you could have 5 squadrons of dive bombers at this tier, that'd be impressive. But this is what we have. So today we'll be going over the first group. So 2 squadrons of fighters, here, 1 of torpedo bombers, and then 1 of dive bombers. So without further ado, let's toss into a game and see what we can do today. Alright, here we have ourselves a game. We have one carrier, quite a few battleships, looks like 4 cruisers and then 1 destroyer. So pretty good potential damage game, I should say. Yes, this camo is really nice. I really like this camo. Let's see here. I think I only want to go half speed. And let's get our aircraft out first. Okay, so it looks like our strike aircraft are going to take a long time to head out there. So let's just bring our fighters out to begin with. We do have advantage in fighters, so if we come across the enemy aircraft, we should be able to knock them down, or at least the fighters, with an advantage. Though maybe I should try and... Let's see actually what we have for aircraft, or anti-aircraft defenses. So, Yamas are trash with AA. Alsace is slightly better, but nothing too serious. Frede de Gros, nothing too serious. Iowa, okay, that's a bit of a problem. Bismarck, not too worried about it. Minotaur and Alaskas, those have good AA. Takao, practically nothing. And then Jutland, less than Lightning, which is the ship before her. So the ones we have problem with are Leyte, or Essex. We have Iowa, and then Minotaur and Alaska. So the cruisers are going to be a problem. But the battleships themselves should be okay. But I'm wondering if I should still keep my fighters with my torpedo bombers, just to provide some split AA defense, which I think I'm actually going to start from the beginning. Spare aircrafts for this loadout, we have 29 spare fighters, 19 spare torpedo bombers, and 23 spare dive bombers. And let's see what kind of targets we have here. We have an Alaska, a Yama, and a Frede de Gros. And then looks like, ooh, the Minotaur is over there. Not really happy about that. So let's see here. Actually, if we take out this Alaska first, that'll open up all 3 of these battleships for an attack. Or a second strike, I should say. So let's actually start with the dive bombers. That's probably... Actually, no, that's not a good idea. Let's come in with the torpedo bombers. And here we go. Hopefully that's enough weight. It doesn't look like it is, though. Oh, maybe it is. I'll take that. That's pretty good. Considering we landed every single torpedo. Looks like Squad 2 is engaging the fighter aircraft from one of the Yamas. So let's see if we can get some good fires on this Frede de Gros, because that is a very powerful battleship. I remember these are the good dive bombers, so let's see what we can do here. Only 4 hits, but that was still 10,000 damage, and what was that, 2 fires? I'll take that. I definitely will not complain about that. Looks like our fighters are getting mixed up with the fighter aircraft, so we're probably going to lose that squadron. Yeah, we only have 1 left. Alright, that's fine. Let's bring our other squadron over here. Where is my ship? I know we're stopped right now. I think we're okay to start moving up north. I hesitate to say that. Oh, let's see. We have Jutland, Yama. Well, no. Yeah, Jutland, Yama, Frede de Gros, and Alaska over here. So we should be okay. The Frede de Gros is about to go down. Yamas are given complete broadside, so they should be getting citadeled here. How's the other side of the map looking? Bismarck and a Yama. Looks like we lost our Mino and Takao. Versus Alaska, Biz, and Alsace. And a Jutland. Not too worried about it. Yep, there goes one of the Yamas over there. So we're just pretty much doing cleanup at this point. Alright, so let's see what we can do on the other side of this map. Also, the Essex is being taken out by the two Alaskas, so that works in our favor. So maybe we can get some good damage on this Yama before she goes down. Actually, she's not even worth it with that much HP. Alright, next target. Let's go. I think we're going to have some good fun with our friends Bismarck, Alsace, and Iowa over here. Though they might not singularly have a lot of AA, that's a lot of combined anti-aircraft defense. So, yeah. We'll see what we can do. We're definitely going to need to use our fighters as cover, though. How's that Essex looking? Not as much damage as I actually expected, though I think the Alaska's changed target. Alright, so let's bring in our torpedo bombers here. Dive bombers there. Alright, I'm gonna go after this Bismarck because that seems to be like the easiest target right now. Interesting how the fighters are able to attack and engage enemy fighters. But as soon as... I don't even know what they're doing now. Okay, whatever. We already lost squad 2. Alright, our dive bombers are coming in. Boom, 9 bomb hits for 20,000 damage. Yeah, these American dive bombers are so good. I mean, in the game and realistically, honestly. But, okay, so it looks like our Bismarck and Yama are engaging the Iowa and Alsace. Bismarck will go down. And Yama, with the broadsides of Iowa and Alsace, might be able to get a couple citadels. Looks like we lost both of our fighter squadrons. Let's move this way. Oh, the enemy carrier went down. Thank you to the Yama, Alsace, and Fred de Gross on my team. I feel like we're not actually doing much this game, but I'm pretty satisfied. Alright, so now it's just Yama versus Alsace and Iowa. We will not win that battle, or she will not win that battle. But she might be able to take down Iowa if she's... depending on who she's shooting. And then the rest of my team is going to be taking out, or working on this Bismarck, who just sank our Jutland. Oh yeah, Yama's going down, especially given broadside to an Alsace and an Iowa in a moment. Yeah, and then Bismarck secondaries are coming in. So I'm hoping my team can actually take out this Bismarck for me, because I can definitely do it easily. However, I'd like to use my torpedoes and bombs for one of the more healthier targets. So where's my ship in relation to these? Pretty far. I think we're okay. We're heading straight for an island. Alright, let's put our fighters around our torpedo bombers, which are now ready to take over to attack. Alright, so I think we're going to go after this Alsace here. Bring our dive bombers over here. Actually, maybe this Iowa. I think that's a pretty good target. Though not a really good torque drop. We still get a couple hits, but nothing too good. Alright, let's put our fighters around our dive bombers. Dive bombers coming in for a strike. And let's see what we can do. 9 bomb hits, 2 fires, and 3 destroyed secondary battery mounts. So I'm pretty good with that. We're going to actually start reversing because, well, actually, that Bismarck was kind of close. But now that she's been sunk, I'm not too worried about those two. And we captured the gun, so we're just going to keep reversing here. Alright, so keep our fighters out. A good way to destroy an Essex, if you don't want to just focus on it with your main guns, is just to put your secondaries on it. For example, if like this Alzus decides gets close enough for secondary range, I will take a ton of damage. It's just the way that my ship is. I just don't have the armor to protect against anything, not even high explosive shells. Well, obviously not. But it does add up very quickly, and you have no kind of heal at all. So whatever damage you receive will be permanent. Alright, so our torpedo bombers are ready. Bring out our dive bombers, just in case we can't finish her off with the torpedoes. I think we should be able to, but we have the wreck of the Alzus in the way right now. So let's attack her from this side. Oh, and she's down. But that would have been a kill for us too if she survived a little bit longer. Alright, so let's see how our first game in Essex went today. 190,000 damage, 1 ship sunk, 14 torpedo hits, 22 bomb hits, 7 aircraft shot down, 4 fires, and 2 floodings. We did 32,000 damage in fires and floodings, 109,000 damage in torpedoes, and 48,000 damage in bombs. Not terrible. I actually expected a bit more damage from the bombs, but our torpedoes did plenty of damage as well. You just have to be careful about losing your aircraft. I don't think well actually, as I did in that game, if I kept my fighters and strike aircraft separate. You really need to have them together at these tiers. Mid and lower tiers, you can kind of get away with it because there's not a lot of good AA. But at like anything tier 8 and above, you're going to want to try and keep your aircraft together. So with that, I will wrap up today's video on Essex. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe for further content. And tomorrow we'll be reviewing the second layout for the air group. So again, thank you for watching and take care.